What's up, everyone? This week on the pod, we are doing Build a Band. So basically, we are going to try to build the greatest hardcore band of all time. Joined by Dan Sant, Joe Rivas, and the mighty Ben Edge of Fields of Fire. And we're going to go through this process. If you would like to support the pod, or I should say, please support the pod by giving it a like, rate it, review it, wherever you listen to it. That stuff really matters, so please do it. Also, subscribe to it so you get it every Wednesday when it comes out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you would like to go the extra mile, please go to patreon.com/185milessouth and become a monthly Patreon. These are my true heroes. They support the pod by putting down a little bit of money every month. And there's bonus content behind that paywall. So they get extra pods and so forth. And that's that. So please check that out if you are interested. And let's get on with the pod.
"185 Miles South", a hardcore punk rock podcast.
What's up, everyone? This week on 185 Miles South, we're going to do a new little game invented by pretty much anyone, probably, because it's a child's game. But Daniel Sant came up with this. But we're going to build a band. So basically, we're going to choose a singer, 2 guitarists, a bass player, and a drummer. And it's going to be all stars. We're going to see who has the best band. Daniel, is that a fair representation of what we're doing?
Yeah, basically, I'm just a big kid.
Yeah, so Daniel wanted to do this really bad. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I gotta give it up to him because
wow,
what? I'm not. It's just a little LARPy for me, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Daniel's been such an important part of this pod that he gets to choose a topic. So there it is. I'm playing along, dude. I'm playing along.
I just thought it would be something different, change of pace.
Hey, and that's why we're doing it. So respect. So as you guys can tell on this pod, we got Dan Sant of Over My Dead Body fame. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing great. We also got episode 1, the legend, Joe Rivas.
Hey.
There he is. Fucking legendary. And then also joining us in the 4th slot, you know him, you love him. He was the singer of Fields of Fire. And Ben, you're still doing Secret Vacation?
Surprise Vacation. No one can get the name right. It's okay. You're forgiven. No one can remember the name of my band. I sing and play guitar in a punk band called Surprise Vacation.
Yeah. Well,
and Ben is also the #1 preemptive. What's that word that we were saying? Ultracragnetic or something?
Ultramagnetic. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ben
and I were just joking about it the other day.
Ben is the #1 185 miles instantaneous fact checker.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
we're gonna change his. We're gonna change his.
Messed it up immediately.
He's like the dude.
We're gonna change his name to.
Go ahead.
My name.
Jesus Christ! Everyone shut off the pod by now. They're like, this is fucking terrible to listen to. 4 people talking at once. No, he's like the guy that they shoot it to on the sports shows at the end, right? Like, let me know what we got wrong. And like the guy's a genius and like rails it all off. Like, oh, actually on the 78 Twins, so-and-so played third base. You're like, okay, how the fuck did you know that? You know? So, but yeah, that's Bedge. And then also, I mean, it goes to show because, you know, I'm just a fucking moron that talks weekly on a podcast, but Bedge is actually an author. Why don't you shout out the book you did and let us know about it, Ben?
Yeah, I wrote a book that came out in November called Going Off: The Story of the Juice Crew and Cold Chillin' Records, which you can buy on Amazon. It's BMG Books put it out. So it's basically about this record label, this hip hop record label that existed from the mid '80s to the mid '90s called Cold Chillin', and they had Big Daddy Kane, Roxanne Shante, Biz Markie, MC Shan, the Jizza back when he was the Genius was on Cold Chillin', Master Ace, quite a few, pretty important people in hip hop, and I. It's partially an oral history and partially, narrative or whatever the term for me writing things in my own words is. So yeah, there was a lot of fact checking that went into that too. Kind of a pain in the ass, but I got it done. So,
hey Ben, did you ever get yelled at? Did you ever get yelled at by Casey Jones for heckling Ignite?
No. Okay. No, he was cool. Casey was always cool. There was this part when I think I asked like Zoli, I was like, "You're all about animal rights. Why are you wearing leather shoes? I'm just curious." And like Casey was all like, Casey just was like, "I don't give a fuck." He's like, I personally don't give a shit. And he goes, "I don't care about that kind of stuff." I'm like, "Cool." Okay. It was like in between songs at a show in East LA, like No K No in 1996, I think.
Yeah. All right.
I was like, "Cool." He's a nice guy. I like Casey. I barely know him, but the times I've talked to him, he's like totally cool.
Cool. Okay, so Daniel, did you do a draw on this?
No. We didn't. Damn it. Oh. I didn't know it. We were doing it fantasy style.
Oh, I don't know. But we got to do a draw, like of who goes first, right? Because we might choose each other's people.
Yeah. Well, let's just say. Here, I can do it real quick. I'm gonna do it.
All right, let's do it, and then let's not do it fantasy style. Let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll keep the fantasy stuff for the Super 7 stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben is first.
All right.
I am second.
Okay.
You are third, and Joe is fourth.
Oh, we're almost alphabetical. But all right, I'll take that 3 spot. Sorry, Joe.
It's all right.
Okay. Let's start off with Bedge. Who you taking?
Which position are we doing?
Which
first?
Position?
Well, whatever you want, because if you really want a singer, you should choose it first, and if you really need a guitarist, choose it first, because you're basically playing defense against other people too. So if you think someone's gonna get Greg Ginn, then you better choose Greg Ginn in your first fucking round. If you want Ian, take him right away.
Don't put ideas in my head, man.
Yeah.
Actually, Ian, good idea. Okay, vocals, Ian MacKaye circa 1981. And I know that at least one of you guys had that too. Am I right? For your first choice?
Well, I was going to go circa 97, but oh well.
Oh, you love the guy.
Daniel, did he steal that from you?
Surprisingly not.
Yeah, not me either.
Well, Daniel did ask on the group text if he could choose Ian Curtis, right?
No, I said that.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. What's your reasoning behind choosing Ian, bitch?
Ian, circa 81. So, Minor Threats, my favorite band ever. And I know it's Dan's favorite band ever, too. And just that first year, think about just that first year, 1981, begins with them recording their demo, then their first 7-inch, then their second 7-inch, and somewhere in there they recorded the 2 tracks for Flex Your Head, which came out early the year after that. And they managed to break up in September of that year. So basically the first 9 months of that year, they did 3 or 4 incredible things, and nothing, they're just unparalleled. It's just the best. It just doesn't get any better than that.
Okay. Do you still want him if you have to practice in that little closet from Another State of Mind?
Oh, the basement of the Discord house? Hell yeah.
Okay.
I'm about it.
I didn't know if you want to spread out a little bit. That's all.
But I'm not in the band, so does it really matter?
Oh, that's true. You're the manager, though, so you're the 6th man in the room.
Right.
So it's getting hot in there. But no, epic choice, and it should be the first choice, right? What, Daniel?
So what about the voice? Talk about his voice. What makes it want to be the voice of your band?
Oh well, he's completely pissed off. He's so beside himself, and it's so obvious, and it's not fake. And he's got this like mission, even though he likes to say, like straight edge wasn't really. He tries to downplay that now, but it's like that guy was on a mission to spread the word of straight edge, and other things too. I mean, and there's also kind of a melodic quality to his voice. It's like semi-melodic.
Yeah, it's very tuneful without losing any of the aggression.
Right. There you go.
I think we're gonna see how it shapes out, because we got to see who he's choosing for his musical instruments. We'll see if Ian ends up adding to it or holding him back a little bit. We'll see. But
good point.
Okay, let's go on to Daniel. Who's your first pick? And what instrument are you gonna choose, or the vocalist?
I'm gonna take this person off the market. Walter Schreifels on guitar.
Yep, I knew he was going to go sometime.
Yeah, I mean, I can just sum it up in one part. You've got Straight Ahead Youth Crew, music being recorded by GB on the 7-inch. Very aggressive, like amazing. Still some tunefulness. But when you get to Start Today and the disco part on Competition, holy, like no one was doing anything like that. And then you go on to Quicksand, take a totally different like slant on music, with hard hitting, longer, like punchy riffs, and just watching him on stage, even now, like when GB play, he's just having the best time. So that part of it is great too. That you're going to get like he's a little bit weird, but you're going to get a really fun, lust for life kind of person in the band that is going to write you nothing but hits. No clangers, just hits.
Daniel Sant with the Moondog snub.
No snub. I mean, I could talk about Rival Schools. I could talk about Walking Concert. Could talk about it all, because, I mean, one of my favorite things he ever did was the song about rabies. That's just an acoustic song, like, that is just beautiful,
Yeah,
but what I'm really focusing on is his guitar work in Gorilla Biscuits. I think it is phenomenal.
It's a great
and
pick.
He wrote all the songs and all the lyrics, so you get a lyricist as well.
Yeah, it's a great pick, because it's definitely you're not getting you're not pigeonholing anything. You're not limited. You can go anywhere with him. Yeah, because he could also.
And he proves that.
Go ahead.
Oh, he's proven that you can put octaves in every single song and it doesn't get old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until Atari that we realized it could.
But I love Atari. I would say that's cool too.
Yeah, I'm just fucking around.
I'd say all the bands that wanted to sound like Bane kind of burned octaves into the ground a bit.
That's true.
Well, it all depends on how, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess it goes to me. I'm going to have to choose the greatest American songwriter of all time, and that's Matt Henderson. So
yeah, I knew you were taking him.
Yeah, I mean, look, he wrote the first 4 Madball records. Don't know how much he wrote on One Voice, but it's like basically the pre-Madball record. Madball is One Voice and Killing Time Brightside, mixed with that old school flavor of Agnostic Front. For someone to do a genre that can be as monotone as like, modern hardcore, the dude is just a wealth of ideas. He's got the bounce, he's got the speed. In AF and Blind Justice, he had the solos. So yeah, I want a great songwriter. That's who I'm taking, Matt Henderson. And let's go on to Joe.
I'm choosing my drummer first, because your drummers are probably the most important person in the band, but we don't tell them that. And I'm choosing Bill Stevenson, 87 Bill Stevenson.
All right.
Excellent choice.
So post Black Flag, Descendants all Bill.
Now,
And you get
Go ahead, Daniel.
And you get a record producer as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if you want 87. Does he have an inflated ego by now? Like, should we go with 83 instead? When he's still hungry?
I don't know. I think he's still hungry.
Okay.
He's probably a better drummer than 87.
I'm just fucking around. But yeah.
The ogre's always hungry.
No, I think it's a great pick. And drummers is going to be interesting.
I had there was an SST sampler cassette from 1988 that I got in 1988, and I had no idea who any of the bands on it were. And Descendants Clean Sheets off of Liveage was on that, and I actually wore out the tape right where Liveage was, right where Clean
That
Sheets
song
was.
yeah.
I listened to that shit. I was 10 years old. I listened to that so much the tape wore out.
That had to give you a warped perspective on relationships.
Yeah.
But okay. Great pick, Joe.
And I said that Bill Stevenson gives you a record producer, but let's not forget that Matt Henderson produced Ill Blood, one of the best 2000 core records of all time.
Hey, I love anyone saying something good about my picks, so thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that. Let's take it back to Bedge for the second pick.
All right, second pick. Let's see here. So I'm going to go guitar, and my pick is Dave the Snake Sabo.
Oh, shout out Benji. Love it. What is Dave the Snake Sabo's tie into punk and hardcore?
Come on, man. He's the preeminent guitarist of the best Southern California hardcore punk band ever, Skid Row.
Yeah, I mean, he did get thanked on a Warzone record, on the Bullet Holes record.
Oh yeah, I learned that today.
So that is a tie.
Nope, that's your pick.
No, it's not my pick. It's a joke. No, it wasn't. No, that wasn't. No, it really wasn't. That was a joke.
Okay. Please wax poetic more about him.
I don't even listen to
His hair flowing.
Yeah, they do Youth Gone Wild. That's about as much as I remember about Skid Row. Brian Baker, 86.
Okay. Well, just back to the Snake. I do love the idea of Ian having to be in a band with him.
Yeah, totally.
What would that be?
You know what I realize now, which I didn't even think about, is my actual pick, which is Brian Baker, 86. Brian Baker ended up in Junkyard 2 years later. You know, he's a butt rocker too. You know, at the same time as Skid Row, exactly the same time.
Yeah, he was probably jelly of the Snake.
Yeah,
probably was. Yeah,
you know, and Baker didn't get a shout out from Rabies, so you know that's fucked up.
That's true. Oh my god, but dag nasty, man. How can I say? Fucking perfect record, amazing, especially the guitar work. He's got that MXR chorus pedal on the entire time. The MXR stereo chorus pedal is the first guitar pedal I ever bought, so I could sound like him on that record. Not that I really used it that much, but it's just like, now I can sound like this guy. You know, octaves, solos. He's really a prodigy. You know, he played on stage with Santana when he was 12 years old.
Jesus Christ!
Do you know that story?
No, I don't. Please tell it.
I do.
He was invited. Brian Baker was invited on stage with Santana in Detroit. He was living in Detroit for like a year, when he was 12 years old, and he fucking jammed with Santana on stage on guitar. He's a guitarist first. I think he was the bass player of Minor Threat at first because they just needed a bass player, but he's really a guitarist. And he's just, you know, I've heard this about him. He's a human jukebox. Like, you could just name any song and he just knows how to play it. And I'm talking about, like, you know, hair metal shit or anything. AC/DC, whatever.
Can he play Sweet Little Sister off the first Skid Row record?
He probably could.
Yeah. Well, you know, that is 87. That is the year of Santana's seminal record, Freedom.
Oh, I don't even listen to Santana. I'll take your word for it.
I love the first handful of records. You know, if you're having a bonfire, Santana is the perfect soundtrack. You know?
If you're having a bonfire, Santana records are the perfect thing to go on it.
Oh, you're fucking crazy. Nah, it's awesome atmospheric music that's like unoffensive. You know, you can like groove into it, or you can like let it fade to the background. You know.
Yep.
So, and you would appreciate me playing Santana instead of punishing you with Sublime, Daniel. So, so take back that chuck your Santana records in the fire shit. So Bedge, what do you think about? Because this is where the things start getting interesting in this LARPer ass game. Do you think that Ian singing on? What do you think about Ian singing on like "Can I Say" instead of Dave Smalley? What's your take on that?
My take is I think Dave Smalley was approximating an Ian MacKaye voice when he sang on "Can I Say." So I think it would fit pretty well if you had Ian doing Ian on that album.
It'd be better with Ian.
Yeah, and I think
I don't know about that.
Ian's probably the only person in the world you could say that about, because I love the way Dave Smalley sounds on that album. I mean, I wouldn't change anything. I know people like saying Dave Smalley's an idiot because he's like a Republican now. Like, we're not talking about that, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking about 30-something years ago.
Let's go to Dag Nasty superfan Joe Rivas. What's your take on Ian singing on "Can I Say"?
I don't think he would do better than Dave, personally, but it would sound pretty cool. I mean, and there's 3 versions out there with Sean singing those songs, almost all of the songs, all but 2. Dave singing them, and then Peter singing the same music that Sean is singing to. Does that make sense?
Oh, I didn't know that. How do I listen to that? Where do I find that?
I'll hook you up.
Oh, Gia.
They call it the "What If" sections, and it's the music from the original demo with Peter singing on it. Now, some of it's really not very good, but some of it is freaking amazing.
If Ian sang on that record, Travis Barker would have 2 Dag Nasty tattoos.
What's his other one? He says, "Can I Say" on his chest, and what's the other one?
No, I'm saying if Ian sang on it, he would have 2 instead of just the 1.
Oh, right.
That's how much better it would be.
Or you just get some,
yeah.
Get a sick like shadow underneath like the first "Can I Say." But what now? How about the other intangible? So, are these 2 beefing by 87? Are they
Probably.
Are they going to work together well, or there's some schism between the 2?
Well, if 86 is "Can I Say," it's on Discord, so Ian put out their record, so there couldn't have been that much beef between them, if there was any at all.
There wasn't that. The beef was, in my understanding, had nothing to do with their personalities with each other. It was band stuff. So.
Oh, band stuff though, and now you want to chuck them in that pressure cooker again? Stick them in a van? I don't know.
I think when Minor Threat was around, there's a great article. Everyone has to read it who is a fan of Minor Threat. I want to say it's on Vice. It's that the guy who played bass, Steve Hansgen, for like a year with Minor Threat. It's an interview with him, and he talked about how crazy being in that band was and how everyone hated each other so much. And he said one of them, when they were on tour, maybe in California, one of them beat the other one up, but I can't remember which 2 it was. Maybe it was Jeff and Lyle, but like he's just like, yeah, I just watched one of them beat the other one up. Like, whoa, these guys really hated each other.
Lyle sounds way harder.
You know, under the tutelage of such an expert manager as Bedge, you know, that's where the management comes in.
That's true. Bedge has got the personality to hold them together.
Yeah.
Ian would never be in a band with a manager. Come on.
Of course. That's why you're going to have to say you're an intern.
Right.
All right. Let's go on to Daniel. What is your second pick?
Ooh. All right. I'm going to take this guy off the table. Legendary bass player, Craig Ahead.
All right.
Craig Satari has been on all of your favorite hardcore records, not only all of your favorite hardcore records, but all of your favorite hardcore bands' favorite hardcore records. He's been on them all. AF, Sick of It All, like Straight Ahead,
Creep Division.
Creep Division. You know, like seriously, and his sound, the bass sound on Scratch the Surface might be the best hardcore bass sound of all time.
Well, everybody after that started trying to duplicate that sound. So
yes, definitely.
Everybody bought a Sans amp because Craig had that because of that bass tone.
But they all didn't have Big Red or whatever the name of the bass is. You know. But not only do you get someone who's been there, seen it all, been on all of these legendary records, has the best bass sound, but he also fucking does the perfect like two-step in while playing that, and awesome stage presence. Like just fucking rad and authentic, like a very authentic person.
I have a really funny Craig story, and I thought about it yesterday because I was listening to an interview with Walter on Turned Out a Punk, and he said that Craig was like the first like band guy he went up to and said, "Hey, you were really good." This was like this was when he was in Straight Ahead.
Yeah,
and he said Craig was so nice to him, and like, you know what I mean? Like, what if Walter had gone up to some other guy who was a dick to him? Like, maybe he wouldn't have stuck around in the scene, you know, because it would have left a bad taste in his mouth. But in the mid '90s, I saw Sick of It All at the Roxy, and I was telling someone I don't really like Sick of It All. And he was like this old New York guy who was like a friend of theirs, and he just taps Craig on the shoulder because everyone's outside at the end of the show. And he goes, "Hey, this kid here doesn't like Sick of It All. This kid here doesn't like..." I'm just like, motherfucker, why did you do that?
Well, why did you say you didn't like Sick of It All?
Craig was like, "Oh, you don't like Sick of It All? That's cool." Craig was so cool. He was like, "That's cool. Awesome." And he like got in this conversation with me about why he quit using Today. And like, he's just such a nice guy.
Yeah,
I have a very similar story. When I was 17, Don and I just started talking to Craig at Soma, like when they played, I think with Rancid, I'm not sure. But we, like, same kind of thing. Like you see all these people that in your record collection, in your mind, you think of legends, you know, and then at a very formative age, they just show you that they're just people and that you can be just as much a part of it as them. And it really does make you feel at home forever, you know?
And then a week later, Daniel started Palpatine and created cosplay hardcore.
And the rest is history. And now we're laughing.
Do you want more Craig stories? Because I could go on for hours.
You toured with them, right?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell one?
No, hours, please.
No. How about I just tell the Monster Cruise story?
Okay.
Yeah.
Where they were telling Craig he doesn't know what hardcore is. I swear to God, they were fucking Monster Crew dudes were talking shit to Craig. You don't know what fucking hardcore's about? Okay.
At the showcase?
No, it was in Salt Lake.
Oh, of course. The real dumbass wing of the Monster Crew.
Yeah.
I heard that on Break Down the Walls.
What did Craig say? What was his?
Oh yeah. What was his comeback?
Oh, he didn't say anything. It's like he's like, "Okay, kid," and like all the Sick of It All guys all had pool balls. They had stuffed in socks, and they were fucking ready to go with those Monster Crew dudes. It was going to be crazy. All the Good Riddance guys all had fucking brass knuckles and all kind. It was going to be mayhem.
Oh God!
What could have?
And then they said that to Craig, and then they just left.
I have a crazy Salt Lake story that revolves around Chubby Fresh and the band Integrity, but I don't want it. It'll derail this conversation. But
yeah.
No,
well,
please, next time.
We'll wait till you pick your.
Go on. I'll make up for the time by flying through my picks. So tell the story. Chubby Fresh in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Amendment 18 played there in December 2003. I filled in on bass for Amendment 18 for about 6 months. That was the last show I ever did with them. And it was opening for Integrity. It was the only time I had ever been to Salt Lake. And there was some issue where Chubby Fresh borrowed some kid's kick drum pedal and then broke it and then wouldn't pay the kid back. And his older brother and his friends came to the show to like get the money or something and like beat Chubby Fresh up. And we were in the backstage area and there was only one way in and out of the room. And the guys stood at the door and were like, we're going to kick your ass or something, or we'll see you outside. We'll see you outside. And Chubby Fresh was talking all big, like, yeah, let's go. Fuck it. I'll be out there in like 5 minutes. I'll kick all of your asses. Just mouthing off. And Chubby Fresh already had a giant like knot on his head and a black eye from having been beat up like 2 days earlier in another state for another reason.
In Northern California.
And he fucking, the second those guys leave the backstage area, Chubby Fresh gets on a cell phone, calls the police, and says, there are a bunch of guys out here. And he's totally sounding panicked. They have guns. They're going to kill me. You got to get here as fast as possible. And I was like, whoa. And like 15 minutes go by and like the main dude comes back to the backstage area and he's all, you called the fucking cops on us? I thought you were in like One Life Crew. I thought you were all about violence and you called the cops on us? And he's just like laughing in Chubby Fresh's face. And they don't end up getting beat up. No one ends up getting beat up, but one guy is standing by the door holding a hi-hat stand. You know, the thing you put whatever the fuck that's called, you know, where you put the hi-hat cymbals on.
Yeah.
And he's holding it behind his back. Like, I'm going to just like a friend of Integrity's, like he's just going to swing it if things get out of hand. And I'm trapped back there. I'm like, if this pops off, I'm like trapped in the middle of it. But I just thought that was hilarious how he just like got on the phone with the cops so quickly and was just like so panicked sounding. And then he's like, what do you mean? And he goes, and when they come back, Chubby Fresh goes, what do you mean you called the cops? What do you mean I called the cops on you? I didn't call the cops on you. That didn't happen. Like fully straight face. Like, I didn't call the cops. Like, wow.
What if those kids
what the character?
What if those kids are listeners and they've always been talking about it since then? Like, do you think he called the cops? I don't know. He probably, but I don't really know. And they found out the truth right now.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, that's quite possible. That could. Yep.
Who knew that Chubby Fresh was the original Karen?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
He doesn't have that nice haircut though. That 45-year-old woman haircut. Right. You know, back to Craig Ahead. I heard that on Break Down the Walls, he wanted to go as Craig Ahead, and Ray and Porcell are like, no, we're the only guys that get the special names.
We're the only superheroes.
Yeah. Do you guys know if that's true or not?
I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Because
Richie could have been Richie Underdog.
Right? Man, that's a superstar fucking lineup. Yeah, okay, great fucking pick. Moving on to me, I will take probably the greatest current hardcore frontman. Still, after all these years, been going since the 80s as a child. I'm taking Freddie Madball. And why not? 1994 set it off. Maybe the greatest hardcore record of all time. I'm putting them back together. Matt Henderson, Freddie Madball. Let's see what happens. All right, let's go on to Joe. What is your second pick?
Hey, Zach, we don't have to fly through your pick. Let's talk about the way that Freddie Madball commands a stage.
Well, I'm hoping for more Chubby Fresh stories, so we got to keep my segment short.
No, we gotta talk about Freddie Madball as a frontman. You gotta give him that respect.
Okay, so before COVID, I wonder if we're ever going to be normal again, because like, sometimes like things line up and you're like, was that fate? And I don't believe in anything, but it's like, what the fuck? Like, I literally got to see my two favorite bands before COVID. So if like we never can go see concerts again, it's fucking weird that I got to see Madball and Dillinger 4 before this all got shut down. And I've seen Madball a million fucking times. But like last time, they were just as good as the fucking first time I saw them. They never disappoint. Freddie's in total control of the stage. Perfect like combination of movement and confidence. Because when I was younger, like Joe, a perfect example is when you let me sing that song with Burning Dog with Henry from Aggression playing guitar.
Yeah.
If you look at how I act, I'm like trying to move a lot, because in my head I was like, as long as you're moving, you're not boring, Right. And that's not really good stage presence. And I remember seeing like Death Threat the first time, and it was crazy because the first time I saw Death Threat, there was like 15 people there. But Aaron Knuckles exudes so much confidence, and he doesn't really move that much. He kind of like posts up and just sings and has so much confidence. And I remember watching him and just being like, what the fuck? It was like mind blowing. It's like, oh no, like stage presence is all about confidence and like command of the stage. And then,
I think.
Okay, so let me finish.
Sorry, Matt.
So then we combined it. You combined it in someone like Freddie Madball, where it's like he does it both. He fucking moves like as gnarly as like, I think H from Take Offense is one of the best frontmen, and that dude fucking moves it. And Freddie, he's 20 years older than H, and he's still fucking moving it just as good as that. But then he also has like the same sort of confidence where he can settle in and like do like the Aaron Knuckles style. So overall, just one of the greatest hardcore frontmen of all time. Total flow, can like sing over slow songs, fast songs, bouncy songs, whatever. And write catchy hardcore shit. He's a timeless singer, one of the greatest of all time. Let's go to Daniel.
Well, the thing that you are talking about, Aaron Knuckles and Freddie Madball, and some others that we'll probably get to, like the Ian thing is like tuneful aggression, right? But we're talking about Freddie Madball and talking about Aaron Knuckles. The thing that they have is charisma. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can tell that they've seen dark days, but they're bringing the positivity to the stage, even though they could fucking crush someone with their hands. There's such a likability about those people, as well as the pure aggression of movement and amazing voice. And I've always felt that like when shit, it's a Madball show, so invariably shit is popping off occasionally. And the way he deals with it, like, hey, come on now, like it's so jovial and likable. It's not like, yo, what the fuck, I don't know. It's just, they're very charismatic, and I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, I think that you nailed it with charisma too. Like maybe that's like the third thing, of movement, confidence, and charisma. Yeah, I mean, it's personality exuding through, right? Like some people bounce off, and I'm sure that all our singers are going to do it. I think Ian's the same way. I mean, he's a guy that, in singing, like you really get a sense of what he's about. And I think that's what like the best singers do, like when you read a good book, people say like, oh, the words jump off the page. Well, it's kind of the same when you're listening to like the best music. The music jumps out the album. The personalities jump out the album. And that's what the best do. So let's go on to Joe with your second pick.
Freddie's pretty amazing. I got to give you that pick. Absolutely. So I chose the drummer. Now I'm going to choose my bass player. And I'm going knocking him off the board now. It's Matt Friedman. So nobody gets him.
Love it. And that combo. I mean, I would like to sit in the room and listen to those two jam.
Fuck.
No guitar, no singer.
Fuck. Yeah. You don't need nothing. It's right there. Yeah. Oh, oh yeah. I mean, it's pretty much like Carl and Bill jamming anyway, because Carl would be my next. Well, he would be on my list of choices. But yeah, Matt Freeman.
And great voice too.
And I'm not the biggest Rancid fan, as you guys know. We've talked about that before. But his fucking bass playing is top notch.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Like I use like an Iron Maiden analogy a lot because like.
Yeah, if I could pick Steve Harris, that would have been the choice. But
well, just with Maiden in general, and more so on the guitar side, it's like they can obviously fucking shred your face. But what makes Iron Maiden so great is they also know when to hang back, you know? And it's like, no, you don't need to noodle the whole time. Like sometimes you're just palm muting and playing fucking power chords,
right?
You know?
Yep.
And
this
is
just running the rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you don't have fucking great songwriting, what are you? Like, you don't want to be, how do you say his name? Yngwie Malmsteen? Did I say that right? Like, you'll end up being that, or like Steve Vai, or like some fucking foo. You know, it's like, no, you got to write. What's that?
Satch Boogie.
what is that?
Satriani.
Satch Booty.
I'm going to take offense and talk shit right now. Don't put Steve Vai in with those guys because he's different. But anyway, that's all.
Well, just like some do this known. Okay. Don't you dare
he played guitar for Frank Zappa, so nobody can fucking touch that. So.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I mean, we were all cool when we were young, right?
you know how
Steve Vai was on the Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey soundtrack.
He played with David Coverdale, man. Don't talk shit. But
does anyone here listen to the Replacements?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Of course.
You know that song? They have that song, I Hate Music. I hate music. It's got too many notes. I always think of Matt Freeman when I listen to that. I'm like, Matt Freeman's got too many notes.
But he knows when to hang back.
Yeah.
I love Operation Ivy. So.
And I love Rancid. And I think that another unsung thing about Matt Freeman is I love his vocals. Like on the first Rancid album, that song "Rejected" was like one of my best. Rejected, rejected,
Aren't you glad you did this, Ben?
I love it.
I love it. I love this pick, dude. I
was
good.
Northern Towns were playing the Casbah with Matt Freeman's psychobilly band called Hell's Brigade or whatever, or Devil's Brigade, right? Okay. So that band had chosen us. Like they were submitted a few different bands to open for them, and they chose us on the strength of like listening to us on MySpace, believe it or not, right? We get there. Tommy, the guitar player, I didn't know this at the time, had been at the Casbah for like 3 hours getting paralytically drunk. So we get on stage, we start playing a song, because my whole thing going into this was like, I'm going to hit Matt Freeman up afterwards, since they chose us to play it, and if we play, you know, I'm going to try and get us on Hellcat. You know, I was like, I really, you know, want to do this band full time. We play the worst set. So where I go over to Tommy after the first song, I'm like, what can't you hear? What's not in the monitor? Like, let me know. I'll tell the sound guy. And he just looks at me with glossed over eyes and goes, hey, man, I'm golden. I'm like, oh, fuck. We are fucked. So I like cut like 4 songs out the set list. Still tried to talk to him about being on the label. He's like, yeah, good luck with that.
Jesus.
Would you say that you got rejected?
Without a doubt. With a 10 bar bass bridge.
Like on Detroit. Got a good seat in the bad feet tonight. All right, Daniel, let's take it back to you on your number, or Bedges first. Let's take it to Bedge, number 3 pick.
Bedge, number 3 pick. I'm gonna go drummer, and I'm gonna go. Well, I'm just gonna say 2 words, and it'll tell you what I'm thinking. Red Tape. Talking Lucky Lehrer, or however you say his last name, circa 1980. Come on, man, Circle Jerks. It's like he has to have been the best drummer of that scene of that era, right?
Of that scene, because Biscuits is still in DOA.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe so. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say he takes it. I mean, I can't think of someone doing a fast song better at that point.
Right. And so, plus I get some California action in my DC heavy band.
Yeah.
Yell at yourself.
Second California pick.
And Minor Threat were huge Circle Jerks fans. So Ian circa 81 would be like, I get to be in a band with Lucky? Fuck yeah. They'd be stoked on that shit.
Yeah, I love this pick.
Oh, I saw the future.
Oh, but damn, you're a heroin junkie? Oh, fuck.
Oh, was Lucky?
I don't know that for sure, but that was definitely going on with a lot of those guys at that time. So
I thought it was the bass player who had issues, who's no longer with us.
Yeah, that might be the case.
Why you gotta bring up old shit, Joe? You outed him after 40 years. But
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know for a fact.
So let's just kick around heroin use rumors on the pod. Fuck it. Yeah.
185 hot take.
I know that is. But this is a great pick. Yeah, I mean, you got to think that at the time everyone is influenced by the Circle Jerks. Like, I listened to, again, shout out to Turned Out a Punk. Jerry A was interviewed on there twice, and he basically says Red Tape is like the reason why Poison Idea existed, and I can't think of a better punk band than Poison Idea, period. Like when you look at the catalog, who put out that many great LPs? Do you guys have anyone?
Yeah, I have. I love Government Issue, like all the way to the end. And I know they're like less punk sounding towards the end, but they just evolved in a way that didn't get shitty the way most punk bands evolve, to me. But I can understand if someone else doesn't like later Government Issue. And I like Naked Ray Gun. Never had, not every single song was great, but every album has great songs on it. They had a really long run too. I love thinking about that, like punk bands, hardcore bands that with longevity, because there's so few of them.
I think that those are two good examples, but I would still lean Poison Idea on both those. I mean, if you think about it, it's like Feel the Darkness might be their best record, and like just starting out, like listening to like War All the Time, it's like, okay, assuming you count like Pick Your King as a 7-inch, which like really, you could count, I don't know, you can count it either way. But it's probably EP. So it's like that War All the Time shit. Third LP, and it just fucking shreds. Like, they don't fall off at all. And then they change the sound a tiny bit for Feel the Darkness, but it's like still shredding and fucking crazy. I don't know, dude. I think that those are both good examples. Naked Reagan, especially. But for the solidness of Sick of It All. Yeah. Yeah. I think you put Sick of It All and Madball in there too.
Fugazi.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I would just say it's a different style where it's easier to have longevity when you're adding singing. If you're talking about having like a monotone singer, then it's completely different ballgame. So once you have singing, it's like, oh, okay, well, lots of people have long careers singing because like the world is your oyster. When you have like a monotone singer, it's very hard because the music, everything's limited. So, but yeah.
And I was kind of half kidding too. I actually don't think later Fugazi is as good as early Fugazi. Although there are good songs on every album.
Yeah. Daniel, you sound a little distant. You want to get up on the mic?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right, cool. Because we're going to you for your number 3 pick.
All right. Let's see. Do I want to unleash the drummer? Or shall I? Yeah. I am going to go with Chris Bratton. Inside Out, Chain of Strength. Just those two bands in particular. But I'm going to go with the Chain 7 Inches era Chris Bratton.
Raging.
I think what an incredible drummer. Like, such style, such amazing playing. Arguably, almost the thing that stands out of those great Chain songs to me is just the incredible drumming. And that's saying something when all the other parts of the band are so good as well. You know? And then the Inside Out era too, like that is to come in this band. Like, he's going to progress even into the Inside Out, you know, power to come with this band's next record. This LARP band's next record, you know?
Yeah, his drum is incredible. If you think about like the fills on like Too Deep Until Now, or like that just one super long drum fill on True Till Death, like, it's sick. He's doing Lombardo in a hardcore band.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to like the different tempos. He still has utter control and power throughout. You know, whether it's a slower part, whether it's just straight ahead fast part going into, like, every fill has it adds. It's like a musical riff into the song. Do you know what I mean? Like, you listen for those parts when you listen to the song.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I met Chris about in the early 2000s at Spaceland, and I said, let's start a band. And you can play drums in it. Like, someone just, here's Chris Bratton within 5 minutes. I'm like, let's do a band. You play drums. And he's all, I don't want to play drums in a band. I want to play bass in the band. And I'm just like, what a waste, because he's such a good drummer. Like, dude. Yeah, God, what a great drummer. And there's this drum thing that he does when the song Impact is kind of fading out, where it's like boom, boom, bam, bam. And I thought that he might have taken that from a song by the Kinks called Strangers, which is on the Lola album. And I played it for Chris. I pulled it up on my phone and I put headphones to his ear. I go, listen to this. It's like the end of Impact. He goes, that sounds really good. It's like, that's not where he got that idea. Wishful thinking on my part.
Well, of course he was going to big league it. What if you found him out, dude? He's going to no-sell that shit.
It's not really identical. Yeah. It's not really the same. But
the Kinks aren't a bad band to steal from, though, anyway.
Yeah, so. It fades out with floor toms. Dump. Anyway.
Yeah, I think that to talk about his sound, like, of course, like the slower parts with the fills and shit are obviously like the standout, but the way he plays the fast parts, it sounds so chunky, like, in a way that it's not going for like the speed, even though it is fast. You know, the only other guy I can think of that does that so well on the fast beats would be Chubby Fresh. You know, just where like the fast beats sound so chunky. I don't know how else to describe it, but
yeah, he's like the gold standard. Chris Bratton is the gold standard for the fast Youth Crew beat.
Yeah. I mean, like, you almost can't say it's a standard because no one can. You just can't really get there. The bar is too high. So at least for the era. Yeah, great pick, Daniel. I mean, all these picks have been really good so far. Okay, so we're going to me. I am going to go bass player. No, I'm going to take my... I'm going to go bass player. I'm going Hoya Rock.
I know what.
Yeah, man.
I almost said it last time. I was like, I know who's going to be a bass player. And now it's been confirmed.
So,
what's happening? Set It Off era Madball is going to be Zach's band.
You know, Nostradamus says that baseball's wrong. Man with 4 balls cannot walk. But anyway, yeah, Hoya Rock. He's adding the groove to Madball, and he's an amazing bass player. Again, stage presence, fucking awesome, and yeah, he's still doing it. I don't know how much of the songwriting he does, but he's been the staple of Freddie the whole run of holding Madball together. Possibly the greatest hardcore band of all time. So my pick, number 3 on bass, the legend Hoya Rock. Joe, let's go to you for your. Oh, go ahead, Bedge.
I just wanted to say something. I'm doing my best not to recreate Minor Threat circa '83. You know, like I could have picked Jeff Nelson in my last pick. Like that would have been fine. He's an amazing drummer. And you're just like, fuck it. I'm just going to do really '90s Madball. I'm just going to recreate the whole band.
Zach is essentially pissing on the LARPing idea by just saying,
oh, yeah, okay.
You guys
pick someone from Madball and he'll fuck his whole
thing up. Yeah.
You guys don't know, man. I got 2 more picks.
Well, I've already taken my drummer, so I can't have Will Sheffler.
Yeah.
Why can't you have 2 drummers?
That's true. we did say 2
just to fuck Zach up. Why not?
Yeah.
We did say 2 guitars, bass.
2 guitars. Okay, Joe, let's go to you. Number 3.
Number 3. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take my first guitarist and go with so Bill Stevenson, Matt Freeman, and now Dan Yeaman.
Woo!
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Does he have shoes on?
No. Man is the bastard sticker on his guitar. That band.
Purple Strat.
Yeah.
Give a little bit
that white one.
Give a little bit of his discography, Joe.
Lifetime. And Kid Dynamite. I mean, he sings in
Painted Black.
Painted Black, but yeah, those are his 2 bands. Dan, I just love Dan's songwriting and catchy little licks and all that stuff and whatever. I know the other guys in Lifetime helped write all those songs too, but Dan's touches are obvious, especially when you hear what happens in Kid Dynamite afterwards. So, Yeames.
Your rules. I love Lifetime.
Good pick.
Do you like the early?
I think
Go ahead, Daniel.
I was going to say he's a very smart person, so you're going to get, a really, really, well, just like Ben has with Ian, a very clever person that can set a direction for the band, set some lyrics, things like that.
He's a doctor, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a private practice psychologist, and sometimes I'll be talking to him, and he'll be like, I want to punch so-and-so in the fucking face. And I'm like, damn, you're someone in shrink.
Yeah.
Anger management.
Well, the Sopranos showed us that shrinks see shrinks. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
should ask him if he's a shrink.
How do you guys feel about pre-Hello Bastards Lifetime?
Love it.
I still love it. Yeah.
We talk about this every time Lifetime's brought up, Zach, that you're just you just ride for Jersey's best dancers,
Well, that's what I was asking. I was asking your guys' opinion.
The background LP, they remixed it in like the mid 2000s and reissued it as like a, what do they call it? Somewhere in the Swamps of Jersey. It's like a collection of a bunch of Lifetimes,
a 2
7 inches.
Thing, yeah.
And it's amazing. Like if you think that remixing a record can't save it, listen to the way that record sounded in the first place, and then the remix. It's like, oh my God, they made this record 3 times better just by remixing it. Like you can really save a record. Well, I mean, the music has to be good, I suppose, but you can really save the way a record sounds by remixing it.
Ben, how do you feel about like when they redid the Outspoken, the Light in the Dark, like one?
That's the other example I was going to bring up, because that's another example of a record that sounds not 100 times better, but 3 times better after Paul Miner remixed it. And I know you like the the original mix, but the problem for me is that the drums and the vocals are too loud, and the guitar and the bass are too quiet on the original version.
Yeah, I think that the new one obviously sounds a ton better, so it might be what I would show to people. But I just think that it just pulls a little of the character out. But again, that's like, it's the first shit you hear is what you connect with, right? It's like, do you like Roar or do you like Rock for Light? And generally, whichever one you got into first is the one you like, and there's no real wrong answer there.
But for me, I heard those remixes didn't exist yet when I got into those records, and I completely think the remixes sound way better. And I think that the remix Outspoken sounds like sonically identical or very close to the Judge LP, like that good,
Yeah, it's amazing what Paul did there.
Also,
because Paul's the fucking man.
He is.
When the Chain LP came out of the 2 7-inches, like remixed and remastered, a lot of people had beef with it at first because it didn't sound like the 7-inches. But I appreciate being able to have it all in the collection to enjoy all the different eras and sounds of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you feel about that one, Ben? Because people hate that the redone shit on that Chain.
Well, they took stuff out of it, which is or they added stuff and they took stuff out of it, which is like, you shouldn't do that.
Fair enough. But how about the actual sound of it?
Yeah, it sounds good. But the We're Not in This Alone Youth of Today album sounds, the remix sounds, the 1997 remix sounds better, I think, than anything else.
I agree.
Wait, so that's, that the second Caroline version?
No, the first.
No, the Rev reissue.
Rev.
Oh, okay.
The very first Rev, the spray paint Youth of Today logo on the back.
Okay.
But I think they reinstated the original cover art, but they kept that 97 audio. I might be wrong about that. I think they did, though.
No, they've since done the original cover art, but when it first came out in 97, it had that picture of, like, a sepia tone picture of Ray with his kind of hand up, and then on the back it has kind of like the spray paint No More kind of logo-ish.
Yeah. You're thinking of Can't Close My Eyes, has his fist with the X on it, but
no, I'm thinking we're not. I could turn my camera on and go get it.
Okay.
That's great podcasting.
But now you're right. Yeah. But now the artwork has been restored for all those records, but the audio is still those 97 remixes, right?
Yeah.
You went and
agreed.
Which I agree with.
And there were 2 Caroline mixes, of course, as well.
Okay.
Yep, that's right.
Gotcha. So there's 2 Caroline. I knew that. And then the 97, they did it again. They changed it again.
They remastered it.
Huh.
They remixed it.
So that's a good reason to get that then. What is currently on Spotify then? It would be that.
That's the Rev mix is on Spotify.
Okay.
The best version, the latest version.
Yeah.
97.
I don't even know what I have now because I had the Caroline. I had one of the Carolines and I sold it, and then I know I've rebought it since then. So I'll have to check the collection, dude. Anyway, rad pick, Joe.
Here's an Easter egg. Wait, I got to tell you about this Easter egg. The Outspoken, when they remixed it, he forgot. Paul Miner didn't know that to pot down the vocals at the beginning of, I think it was Is Beauty a Crime? I can't remember the song. But you hear John Quayle go, "Oh, come on!" It's like do 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 do. Yeah. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I hate
and
that.
And Hartsfield played that for me before it came out, and he goes, "We took this shit out, but he didn't know it was supposed to stay out, so he put it back in." And I think it's funny now.
Yeah, I don't like it, but hey,
come on.
It's kind of cool. It would have been cool if that was like, I don't know. I think it should have just gone once, like it originally did, without the "come on." I think you could have, instead of the "yeah," you could have said "come on." But that "yeah" is so ill. Yeah. That's it's so good. Anyway, Let's go back to Bedge for number 4.
Number 4. Okay, so I have a bass slot to fill, and I have a second guitar slot to fill. So I'm going to go bass, and I'm going to stay DC, but I'm not going to go Discord. I'm going to go Daryl Jennifer of the Bad Brains.
All right.
And what era am I picking? I'm picking any era as long as he doesn't play reggae.
Can you?
So stealth.
That's like
Daryl?
that's changing him. He's gonna argue. He's gonna argue for a couple reggae songs on there, dude.
Yep.
And is Lucky gonna go for it?
I wouldn't say
It's Daryl Jennifer. He's gonna go for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're gonna get your reggae songs, but I don't.
It's gonna happen like this. Hey, let's do this reggae song. Here, hit this, and then it's on.
And then Ian does it. I can't wait to hear Ian's patois. Can we hear Ian's patois?
Actually, you can hear it. They did a dub version of "Asshole" by Government Issue. It's on a Discord box set.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
Is he doing a patois? I can't remember though. It's definitely all dubbed out.
He's just got the dub vocal on.
You just got to get the dude off heroin and onto weed, and then that reggae song is happening.
Poor Lucky. He's probably never done drug in his life, and he's getting picked on. I have no idea. I've known that to guess.
Was that Joe telling me, "Come on, man"? I didn't start the rumor.
You're perpetuating it, man.
Hey, I'm just trying to
let it go.
I'm trying to help him out. I'm trying to help him out of dark times. I'm extending that green thumb. But yeah. All right. This is great. So how do you think that Daryl and who's your guitarist?
Brian Baker, 86.
Yeah, how do you think that they vibe together?
I think it works. I think it works well. Like, think about it. If like Daryl's playing like the fast Bad Brainsy punk, I mean, that's not too far off from Minor Threat or Dag Nasty, you know?
Yeah. And let's not forget that we already saw Ian lecture Daryl on the Bad Brains documentary. At that
about like being homophobic or something. What was that about?
Yeah, about their don't blow bubbles, big boys bullshit from back in the day.
Yeah, Daryl said something and Ian was like corrected him. What did he say though? I can't remember.
He was just like, we were just kids. He's like, that's no excuse, or like that doesn't matter. Like that was wrong. You know, just blasting him, not giving him an inch in true Ian style. You know.
Plus, they weren't just kids. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he had to have been well into his 20s when it happened.
And also, that person just put you up and did a show for you.
Yeah.
So, way to pick homophobic bass player, Ben.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I didn't.
Well, he said any era, so he could take the modern woke version.
Yeah.
He still shreds. He's not gonna be bad at bass.
I like the Roar tape better than the Rock for Light. I guess that's a big thing that people like to argue about because it's mostly the same songs, right? It's like almost all the same songs.
Yeah,
it's Roar all the way.
I'm
Roar.
I'm Roar all the way.
Yeah,
all the way.
Yeah.
You guys are wrong, but that's okay.
So,
I'll take Black Dots over Rock for Light. Actually, Black Dots is really close to being number one for me as well.
Well, you've been getting into Daryl Jennifer's stuff.
I guess so.
Daniel, let's go with your number 4.
All right. My number 4, I am going to go with vocals.
That's so dangerous, saving your vocals for number 4. I appreciate the balls.
So, they only played one show, but this is the era I'm going because
until we know who you're taking.
But this is the most perfect hardcore vocalist I think ever, except for Ian, which brings so much more. But I wanted to go
Is anybody there? Does anybody care? Does anybody see what I see? No.
If you are sick, that just him on stage at the start of the Alone in a Crowd show. We're talking about Jules Massey from Alone in a Crowd, and previously he has just done Side by Side, which is the best record on Revelation Records. And Walter will be bummed that I'm saying that, but Walter, come on, you got to give it up. The Side by Side 7-inch is the best. If you are sick, like Jules just prowling the stage in the fucking USA champion shorts with the Schism shirt over the hoodie, Air Jordan 1s, just prowling, and then he just goes, "Is anybody there?" And it goes in. Oh my God. Am I just alone in a fucking crowd? And then the song kicks in, and I remember I got that video from Larry Ransom back when, I only had the Alone in the Crowd 7-inch. And, he's like, I have the video of the one show that they played. And so he dubbed it from VCR to VCR for me. I must have watched that set. Now you can find it on YouTube. And I implore everybody listening to this, when you're done listening to the playlist that we put together and all of that, go onto YouTube and watch the Alone in a Crowd set if you've never seen it. It is incredible, and that is what a hardcore singer should look and act like. And, well, look doesn't matter, but I'm saying, like, his gear, it just gets me fucking psyched. I am just, like, this is grade A hardcore. This is what I think of when I think of hardcore. This is the peak of Everest for me. So, Jules Massey, Side by Side, Alone in a Crowd. I mean, just look at the pictures that you see from Side by Side playing live. He's in a fucking Fred Perry polo with Adidas fucking decades and top 10s on. Like, just fucking epic look. And the best voice, arguably ever. So, there you have it. Jules Massey. What do you guys think?
What about the slut shaming song?
It's a bummer. I mean,
I don't care. Whatever.
It's a bummer if it's about girls in general, which he has since come out and said it was about a particular person. So, when we look at, you just put Daryl Jennifer in your band, so let's
That's why I brought it up.
There are histories to everyone, especially 40 years ago almost on some of it. But, Who They Know is a fucking ripping song. It's just
so good. That record's so good, dude. Yeah. I got goosebumps when you were doing your Jules impression of him talking before the song.
Yeah, and we don't have to pretend that we don't like aesthetics, right? You obviously love it, Daniel, and everyone does. Yeah. Everyone does. I mean, that's part of anything you connect to. You like the way it, it has to like stimulate the senses, right?
It's why like those new wave of British hardcore bands are fucking coming over wearing chain belts and construction gloves. There are certain things that have the aesthetics has just gone into the world where we look back and we go, that era and the way things were presented, oh my God, that's perfect. It's why Hardware Fanzine celebrated that look, because these are the things we hold on to and these are the things that define hardcore to us, and
there's actually, go ahead. Sorry.
And just with the Jules thing, for so long, up until they recently did this reunion and all of the stuff, he was the one that got away. He was the mystery. He was the one that you just, I heard he was a tugboat captain. I heard he's this. I heard that. And, they've asked him to do all these reunions. He's never wanted to. He's never come back. He's never sullied his name, And they came back for charity because the guitar player has a brain aneurysm or brain tumor. And, that's fucking honorable. But I loved, to be truthful, I loved when it was a mystery, and Jules was just the guy, like the gunslinger that was out in the wind that you just didn't know about anymore. Like, just the legend was bigger than the reality.
Mike Judge was like that too for so long. No one knew where Mike Judge was.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I met Mike Judge, I guess when they came to play in Orange County, and I guess it was 2013. I just thought, I never thought I was ever going to meet this guy. It was just never in any thought of mine that I would meet Mike Judge. You know, it's just,
especially because the weirdness of the Old Smoke record adding to the mystery of this person disappearing, you know?
Yeah.
The motorcycle and all of that, you know? Anyway, that's my pick, Zach. You're up.
Well, when Retaliate played with Judge in 2019, I actually had him serenade me with Pushing a Dreamer in the parking lot.
No, you did not.
No, actually, it was One-Eyed Jack. But, yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for not stepping on my picks, Daniel. I am going to choose my second guitarist, and I'm going Stigma! And who can deny Vinny Stigma? He is the New York hardcore legend.
What era Stigma?
I'm going to go 1994. But yeah, any era is fine. Dude's a fucking legend. Original member of Agnostic Front, has been with them the entire stretch. And played on the Madball 7 inches and Set It Off. So undeniable. Stage presence is amazing from all accounts. Amazing person. I've never gotten to meet him, but all the Take Offense guys know him pretty well and fucking love him. And so, if he treats them well and they love him, that's good enough for me. And so, yeah, that's my pick. Second guitarist, Vinny Stigma of Agnostic Front and Madball. Joe?
Hey, Ben, I'd like to remind you that you have not selected drummer yet, Ben.
That's true.
Me?
Oh,
yeah.
Bedge did pick a drummer. He got lucky.
Lucky from Circle Jerks.
So Zach's home free with the Set It Off lineup.
Hey, you don't know where I'm going to go, dude. I might be saving the curveball.
Nah.
Hey, Biscuits is out there. Biscuits is out there.
Vinny, you know how Vinny Stigma? There was this pervasive rumor that that his guitar was turned totally down, like he wasn't really turned on. I mean, maybe the amp was on, but the volume was at 0. Yeah. Like, have you ever heard that rumor?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Apparently, for the NYHC VHS is when you've heard the rumor for that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but when they came back, like prior to Something's Got to Give, they were only a 4-piece. So obviously, it's not always true.
It's not true.
Yeah,
it's not, because I saw them in 2014, and they did all of Victim in Pain, and because it was like the 30th anniversary of that album, and there's like a guitar break on whatever song that is, and it's him doing the guitar break, so his amp is on and turned up.
Oh, I think it was only a rumor for a one-time thing. I don't.
Yeah, I had heard that it was just like his hands were fucked up or something like that, and that's the only reason why they did that.
I heard that too. Yeah.
It's just because he's flexing during Crucified, right? But he's just being a character.
Yeah. Well, that's on the NYHC vid.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I've been right in front of him, and his amp's on.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I was at that same show, Bedge. They played they played Brick by Brick that time. So Agnostic Front.
He was definitely playing. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go to Joe.
I was just going to say he was definitely playing at the when AF played the Living Room.
Yeah, well, that was Something's Got to Give
definitely
time. Yeah, they were a 4-piece.
Yeah.
So I mean, he had to be playing then, but AF is a 5-piece now, or they've been for over a decade, maybe 15 years. But yeah, that one of the coolest things about AF and Madball is they always come through San Diego. A lot of bands skip here, because you do OC, LA, and NorCal, And they always come and they always kill it. So another reason why I love those two bands. Let's go to Joe for his number 4.
Number 4, I'm going to choose my second guitarist since Ben took my my Brian Baker. I am going to choose his. I'm not going to say counterpart, but another DC guitar player, Michael Hampton, from Embrace and Faith. Preferably the Faith stuff, although the Embrace stuff is fantastic. But I absolutely, Faith is probably my favorite DC band. So,
well, if you bring up Embrace with Zach, he actually has a full blown meltdown and starts just screaming Slayer over and over again.
Just. I
go back into the 185. Go back into the 185 archives for that one.
I own and enjoy the Embrace LP. It's just not a hardcore record. I don't know how you argue otherwise. The whole point of the band is not being hardcore. So it's great for what it is, but it's not a hardcore record. I don't know why that's
the whole point is that it's evolving hardcore.
What?
Evolving hardcore.
Oh, evolving out of hardcore. It's not hardcore. And it doesn't mean that it's not a good thing. I mean, listen to our 5-year picks.
But Faith absolutely is. So
Faith absolutely is. And I respect anyone that chooses Faith, because that's the age-long hardcore discussion too, right? Are you side Faith or you side Void? And most people
I'm both sides.
Yeah. Well, most people the last 20 years, I feel like they fall on the Void side. And Faith doesn't get enough love. But
man.
But yeah, I mean, I think you're the right answer, Joe. Both sides.
Yeah, Subject to Change is one of the greatest records on Discord, period, too. I mean, it's phenomenal. And it's because of his guitar playing. I mean, everybody else is great, but he's so clever with the little tricks and stuff that he does.
Yeah,
and then everybody after that copied that style of what he's doing there. I mean, that and what was going on in Rites of Springs too. But
I have this fantasy of going to wherever Discord and getting the master tape and potting everything else down except the guitar on the Embrace album, and then learning how to play those songs properly on guitar.
That'd be
so he's noodling the entire time.
Yeah,
he's not high enough in the mix to really be able to tell what he's doing. And are you a fan of One Last Wish? Do you know that band?
Yeah, that's I'm gonna say I've heard it once or twice.
That's one of my favorites.
But it was great stuff from what I remember. But I don't own that.
It's so good. I mean, it's basically Rites of Spring, but with Mike Hampton added to it on guitar. And then, have you heard Fake Names? It just came out. The band that. Yeah. What do you think of that?
Well, Brian and the singer from Refused, and it's okay. It's rock. Yeah.
It's Mike Hampton too.
It's Mike Hampton. Oh, he's playing bass in it or something, though, right?
No, I thought it was guitar. I thought it was Brian Baker and Mike Hampton on guitar, because they had never been in a band together, and they're like my two favorite DC guitarists. And it's like, oh my God, they're in a band together finally. And it's like, not feeling this at all.
Yeah, they put together a superstar act, and it's not even as good as Zoli's new band. It's a bummer. Speaking of isolating tracks, have you guys ever heard David Lee Roth doing "Running with the Devil" a cappella? That shit is fucking ill. Go check that, dudes.
I'm a Sammy Hagar. I'm Van Hagar.
Oh, me too. I'm Van Hagar too, but it's undeniable that "Running with the Devil" a cappella. Sammy Hagar, he's the lyricist, That's his edge. Right now, bro. Okay. I think this is a great pick. Joe, Bedge, were you going to choose that as your second guitarist if you could have?
This is it. This completes my band. Let's see here.
No.
But were you going to take that? Were you going to take that?
Mike Hampton was on my short list, but he wasn't the next one down. Okay. He was like, but he's on here.
Was Stigma?
So is it my turn to pick
Was Stigma on there?
Was Vinny Sigma on there? No, he wasn't.
Okay. Yep.
But I love Victim in Pain.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
Did he write that album?
Yeah, he had to have, right? I mean, he's the dude. He had to have been him.
Oh, but didn't Todd Youth? I know Todd Youth's not on that album because it's like he got grounded or something because he was like 13 when he was in the band. But Todd Youth might have written some songs on Victim in Pain. I don't know. Anyway, so my last pick is I'm going to go up to the state of Rhode Island, and it's going to be Pete. I don't know how to pronounce his last name at all. I'm not even going to try, but the Verbal Assault guitarist.
Nice.
Circa 1988 trial era Verbal Assault.
Fucking awesome.
Zach just fainted. He's sight.
Hey,
there was some.
I love the whole journey of Verbal Assault.
Me too. What's the issue that you have, Dan, with Verbal Assault?
No issue. I'm just saying Zach like rides hard for him. I love Verbal Assault and I love the record Trial, and I think that's a fantastic pick. I was just saying, like, Zach waxes poetic about Verbal Assault frequently when we do these picks, and it's truthfully a band that doesn't get enough recognition.
Yeah, especially like because Trial is so palatable. Like, it sounds great. There's nothing. It's not like it's a old record with a bad recording where it's like you gotta just listen to it. Like there's nothing to get through. You don't have to look past anything. Like, the record stands on its own, and it's so fucking good. And every song is good.
It's so good.
Yeah. And so it's the one that I always ride for. But I really do love the whole catalog. I mean, even like the last, like the Exit record that like took me kind of a long time to get. It's a little, I love On, I love Tiny Giants, love Learn, but no, Exit, like that last 10-inch they did, it must have come out like what's the word, posthumously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it did.
Yeah, it's just 3 songs, including like an instrumental.
And it's a 10-inch.
Yeah, and it's a 10-inch on the worst format.
When I listened,
so go ahead.
It's the only Verbal Assault album I don't own, or record I don't own.
I think it was it came out on a label from the Netherlands called Concurl. It's Concurl K137. Okay. And everything on Discogs is Germany, France, and 2 available in the Netherlands. So it'll take a minute to find it, but it's not expensive.
Got to go to Europe and pick it.
Yeah.
I think when.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But when I hear Verbal Assault Trial, I think this guy listened to Brian Baker. He listened to Can I Say, and he's like, Brian Baker rules. I think I can do him one better. I think I can take that chorusy sound, guitar sound of Brian Baker and add delay to it on top of the chorus and make it sound massive. It's like he like beat him at his own game. So having those 2 guys in a band together would just be incredible. That's like my dream come true. I mean, the other thing about Pete is he was playing through 2 amps simultaneously. I think he was doing like the old Marshall, like Brian was, but he also had like a Mesa Boogie. So he's running both those with the chorus and the digital delay, and maybe like a Gibson, I don't know, Les Paul, something or other. Like, it's just massive.
And he's also the dude that played piano on the song.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
So you got a pianist as well. Bonus.
Yeah. And so that completes my thing. And it's, you get Ian on vocals. Ian produced the Verbal Assault Learn. So these guys in real life, at least 4 of these guys know each other personally in real life. Or at least, I guess everyone knows Ian. So that's not really saying much, but they've been personally involved with each other's projects in real life. So it's not cool.
You got to give these guys a cover November Rain, dude. It's going to be sick. Fucking love it. November Rain, and then go into like Yeah, like just do the intro legit, Ian singing a little bit, and then bust it off full Verbal Assault trial style. Oh, you might
Right
win.
on.
You might win on the power of that song alone. All right, Daniel, what is your fifth and final pick?
Okay, so we've got Chris Bratton on drums. We've got Craig Ahead on bass. We've got Walter on guitar. And we've got Jules on vocals. And just that is a powerhouse. But I just need to bring a little more, like, how do I say it? I don't know, just a different sliver of hardcore to come into this world a little bit to bring. And so I was going to go Aaron Melnick, but I have to do it. I got to go Steve Miller, and not from the Steve Miller band. Stephen Andrew Miller of Unbroken.
All right.
I'm going to go Final 7-inch era. So Life, Love, Regret is already in the arsenal, and both 7 inches are in the arsenal. So just perfection, amazing songwriting. And then, he's going to go on to do lots of other amazing bands. But what he's going to bring to this is because he's such a fan of Walter, I think they're going to have such great synergy to write songs for Jules to just wax poetic with pure aggression over, with Chris Bratton and Craig Ahead just providing this beautiful rhythm section of pure, unadulterated hardcore behind them. And I think it'll be a killer band.
I think that's a good
I
way.
agree.
Is that the only pick of a dude whose main shit is in the 90s? Other than My Perfect List?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, technically you could, I did choose Start Today era Walter, but, Quicksand are
No, I think you
pretty
took
great.
you took him for his whole catalog, so you're right. You took the Quicksand Walter.
Whole catalog.
You argued for both.
Oh yeah, because we started talking about all his other stuff.
Yeah,
and because he's still bringing it today. So I've got modern day Walter as like the patriarch of the band.
That's right. And Bedge got the non-homophobic version of Daryl Jennifer. So later era as well. So sick.
No. Before, when Bad Brain started, they weren't Rastas yet. So I'm going to pretend that they weren't homophobes yet either, as well.
The new wave Daryl Jennifer with the sunglasses at CBGB.
Hell yeah, Black Dots era Daryl Jennifer.
There you go.
Do you know what though? Like, both when Ben lays out his band and I lay out my band, as much as this feels LARPy to you, there is something in your mind going like, fuck, what record would this collective bring out, That's so cool.
Let's not pass over Joe's band either. I mean, and yeah, Joe, you got to do from Lifetime.
No. We finished. That's why I'm saying those two.
That's true.
Yeah. I know what record your band would bring out.
How can you tell? How can you tell? So yeah, should we move on to my fifth pick?
Yep.
Can you guess it, Daniel?
Will Shepler on drums.
I'm going Chuck Biscuits.
Whoa.
No, I'm going Will Shepler. Fucking.
I know you.
Set it off. Yeah, dude. Maybe the greatest hardcore lineup ever on one record. That is my band, Madball Set It Off era. And enjoy being tied for second place, dudes. Let's move on to Joe.
The sycophantic listeners will agree. A lot of them will agree with this reasoning, which is against the whole remit of the challenge.
Daniel's still mad months later about the first time we did our Super 7 playlists and he didn't win. All right, and let's go to Joe for your final pick.
My final pick is my singer. I waited till the end, and nobody picked him. So I'm going with Kevin Seconds. I love Kevin's voice. I love what he does. I love his lyrics. I love everything about him. He can write some songs too for everybody. He can play guitar a little bit. So not a little bit. He's a really good guitarist. So Kevin, Matt Freeman on bass, Bill Stevenson on drums, Michael Hampton, and Dan Yeames on guitar. There we go.
That's a great band.
That's the band.
Interesting you picked Kevin Seconds to go with Matt Freeman, because Steve Youth by like the mid to late 90s was being really busy with his bass playing too. Like if you notice on some of those later 7 Seconds records.
Oh yeah.
He's very notey.
Those later 7 Seconds records are some of the most underrated records
They're
there
great,
are.
dude.
I love them. I love Ourselves, and I love Soul Force Revolution. I need to revisit Out the Shizzy. I don't remember. I think they did a 7-inch right before that record, I think, that I didn't like that much. I got to revisit that record. I have it too, I think.
Out the Shizzy is not great.
Okay. But those two, the Ourselves and the Soul Force Revolution, I love them.
Soul Force is great.
I love them. Yeah, great picks. So Joe just
that's my superstar band.
Yeah, and okay, so let's just explore this before we wrap it up. What do you think your demo or first record sounds like, Joe?
Oh man, there's so much like cleverness in guitar, in the guitar playing, and then with Bill and Matt, like it could go anywhere. And Kevin's so diverse, like he can sing just about anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like they could do anything. I don't know what it would end up sounding like. It could be a hardcore record. It could be just, you know, another pop punk or some hybrid of all of it, you know.
You're managing them, and you want them to have a 20-year career. What do you think their first record should sound like?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, killer band.
It's going to sound like what's their
killer band and not killer management.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm not a manager.
I know. And we never talked about having to have that be part of the exercise. But I think you nailed. I think you nailed this list, Joe. I love.
I think they would make great music. Yeah.
I love everyone's band.
Joe, you got to up your Simon Cowell lifestyle.
I love everyone's band. Daniel, say your whole lineup again, and what do you think of their first record would sound like or should sound like?
You've got Chris Breton on drums. You've got Walter and Steve on guitar, like Walter Schreifels and Steve Miller on guitar. You've got Craig Head on bass, and you've got Jules on vocals. And I would think that a darker, hard, like a little bit more metallic tinged, just tinged, not full metal, version of some raging, like straightforward hardcore is what this would sound like, with some great melody just put on the top by Walter, like unexpected melody. Like the song's so hard, but there's going to be a few, I hate saying this word, but licks that are going to just send you off on a left turn where you're like, oh wow, I didn't expect that coming. But the pure When Tigers Fight era Jules, like over the top, is just gonna be a hardcore classic of epic proportions.
I think lick is an underused word. That is. It's like I don't know. It's a more flamboyant riff, wouldn't you say, Bedge?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about how Dan's choices were smart because Steve doesn't really do leads, and Walter's got that melodic shit going on, so they're not playing over each other.
Yeah.
Whereas Joe has Dan Yeaman and Mike Hampton, who are always doing little licks and riffs here and there, and so those might collide. And then Brian Baker and Pete from Verbal Assault for my choices. They're always doing little riffage type stuff, so they need to be on the same page.
Yeah. My song, your song. My song, your song.
Yeah.
Could be that. You just noodle on the song you wrote. Like you get the noodling duties. That's how it works.
Yep.
Bedge, what do you think that their first record should or would sound like?
First record comes out raging hardcore, a little bit of melody, and then the second one is leaning further into that, trial era verbal assault and Can I Say Dag Nasty melody. So first one would be more in the group sex, roar tape, early Minor Threat vein, just kind of more full on raging, but still with tunefulness to it.
Yeah.
And then it expands, and maybe the tempo slowed down by record 2.
Yeah, and you get to be on Discord, so that's a fucking win. You score that from that's a good manager right there. You got your band on Discord. Daniel, what
or Frontier Records?
Yeah, but which are you choosing?
Well, I'm friends with Lisa.
Okay. Well, shout out Lisa, but we're going Discord.
There's more Discord people in here, so yeah, it's probably that's where it's going.
Yeah, both classic labels. We will say that. Daniel, where do you think your band's ending up? What label?
Camel Clutch.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. But no.
Revelation Records.
Yeah. And Joe, where do you think you guys are ending up?
Yeah, this is a Rev band or something. I don't know. I mean, they could. They'd fit anywhere.
You got an angle for Epitaph.
They could call for whatever shot they wanted. I bet you. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Epitaph.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Epitaph's a move. Well, my band most likely will end up on Roadrunner and put out a hardcore classic. But who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
But yeah, I had fun. Thank you guys for doing this episode, and thanks for coming on, Bedge. Much appreciated.
We got to do our runners up.
Oh yeah, let's have runners
just
up.
Quickly. Yeah.
Okay, Daniel, you got a list?
The only 2 people that didn't make it, like all my first choices were in there, and I went with Jules just because of I just wanted him to front what the music of this band would be, just a little bit more than Ian, even though Ian is God. So the 2 that didn't quite make it that I had listed here were Rob Moran and Aaron Melnick. Those are the only 2 runners up. I got everybody in that I wanted. So
okay, and going to Bedge.
Runners up for vocals: Ron Reyes, circa 1980 Jealous Again era. Tim McMahon from Mouthpiece and Hands Tied, and lots of other bands. I've always loved that guy's voice. Yeah. There's just something about it. Mm-hmm. Zach De La Rocha, Inside Out era. Mm-hmm. Not Rage Against the Machine era. I do not like his vocals in that band, but Inside Out, incredible. One of the best ever. Civ, Anthony Civarelli, 1989, Start Today era with a cracking voice. Dave Smalley, the Can I Stay era Dave Smalley. And then my wild card, of course, I don't think I would have ever gotten to this one, but Billy Idol singing for a hardcore band. The only thing that guy's missing is the rage, but he's got the voice. I mean, him singing over melodic hardcore, that shit would be good.
There's a little bit of rage in that early Generation X stuff. That's what I was thinking. I love Generation X.
Bass, Steve Hansgen from Minor Threat. I just heard an interview with Brian Baker, and he says that Steve was a better bass player than him, which surprised me. And then I had Craig Ahead actually on my short list, which Dan took. And Klaus Fluoride, circa 81. When they're doing "In God We Trust" Incorporated, like this guy's fully capable of playing well above what the music calls for, but he's totally, going 100 miles an hour playing raging hardcore. And
Cheetah
then
Chrome as well.
what was that?
Cheetah Chrome would have been a pick. Dead Boys Cheetah Chrome.
He's a guitar player though.
Yeah, I'm not saying for you. I'm saying one of my subs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, totally.
Okay, Bed, you got anyone else?
I'm looking at my iPhone notes.
Jeff, Minor Threat era Jeff Nelson, and Pete Moffat, who was the later Government Issue drummer.
Oh, come off it.
Yeah, but Pete Moffat and Jay Robbins were the drummer and the bass player of Government Issue, and they actually put a disclaimer on the live album saying that what you are hearing on this album is exactly how it was played live, because it seems like they edited out the spaces in between the songs, but they actually did play the songs. They practiced so much that they could go into each song without counting off the next song and do an entire set that way. It's incredible. The best rhythm section, one of the best rhythm sections ever, was that Jay Robbins, Pete Moffat, later Government Issue. And then I had Bill Stevenson as well, which Joe took. I had Mackie Jason, Age of Quarrel era. Yes.
This is like way beyond an honorable mention list. This is just like you're naming all your favorite people now. Because if you're naming like 6, then it's like there's no way all these people could have gotten picked.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess you're right. Yeah. I did have more names than I ever would have needed for drums. Okay, guitar. I had Walter, which Dan took. I had Chris Smith from Battalion of Saints. I had Dr. No from Bad Brains. I had Pat Smear, Germs era Pat Smear. And I had Mike Hampton.
Everyone tune in next episode when Bedge's list of musicians he enjoys continues.
Yeah. Essentially, Ben is putting together a Lollapalooza, not just a band.
He's doing We Are the World of punk.
It's LARP.
We are the world. We are the world. Yeah. Joe, you got any runners up?
Okay, mine. Yeah, I got a couple.
Go ahead.
Guitar. I had Henry on here, Henry Knowles, Aggression, and Dan Palmer. Dan Eyelid, and everything else. Death by Stereo and Zebrahead and everything else that he's doing now. But I love Dan, so he's a fun guitarist. He's fun to watch. And then Brian Baker, which was taken. The other drummers I had Derek Plord on here. I'm surprised he didn't get picked, but and then that's it. And then my other bass player was Brian Kenyon from Bouncing Souls, because that guy fucking shreds. And then other vocals I had I picked I went with Kevin Seconds, but I had Greg Graffin on here as well, and Tony Sly. And then I wrote Blake as a ghostwriter.
Okay.
He's just going to write all the lyrics.
Oh, sick. Cool.
That's it.
Yeah, okay. My runner-ups, I had Roger Camaro guitar, Andrew Verity bass, Matt Anderson on drums, and
the best.
And that singer of Retaliate on vocals.
That guy's okay.
He's all right.
He's cute.
But yeah, this was fun, guys. Thanks so much for doing it. And everyone buy Bedge's book. And so it's under Ben Merlis, correct? Or Benjamin Merlis?
Ben Merlis, yeah. Merlis.
Okay.
What's the title of the book again, Ben?
It's called Going Off.
Okay. So,
the story of the Juice Crew and Cold Chillin' Records.
Yeah. So everyone go on Amazon. Ben Merlis, Going Off, the story of the Juice Crew. Buy that shit. And smash that Patreon button, guys. You know what to do. Have a good day.
The bet is over. The bet is over.
The bet is over. The bet is over. That's in the book.
All right, guys.
Chapter 3.
Okay. Yeah, and tune in next time for Bedge's Continue List. Bye-bye.